ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. So welcome to our weekly session on Saturday. We shall continue on our journey of Mundaka Upanishad. We are in the first Mundak, part 2. Today we will start from mantra number 7 and continue from there. In the previous mantras of this part, the part 2 of Mundak, we saw that these mantras prescribe the methodology of performing Havan. How do you perform Havan and how it can help you reaching your request to the divine power, Devtaj. The designated Devtaj can be reached through the Havan Samagri which you put in the Havan. It turns into sun ray and takes it to the designated divine power. And then there were cases in the past when the divine power himself or herself even appeared and gave the blessings. But in any case, your desires reach the divine power and you get the return of those divine requests. So this is the way they prescribe that the mantras which are prescribed in Karm Kand of Vedas, they are helping you in this process. This was also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that if you worship a particular devta, then the devta will give you in return the desired results. Now, we remember that this whole Upanishad started with the question of Sonak Rishi to Angira, that what is that one thing, by knowing that all the rest is known. This was the most profound question ever asked in the history of mankind. And therefore we have to, go back to that, and that is how the Upanishad will take us there again. So it took a small deviation to explain to us that how the Karm Kand and the root of the Karm can help you in a limited way. So now let's go to mantra 7. Palva hote adrada yagya rupa astadasovaram yasu karma ed chadriyo eyavidante mudha jara mratyum te punaraveti yanti. Now, this mantra tells us that the 18 Palva is the Noka, the boats. The 18 boats are very unstable. Adrada means unstable. That this root of 18 boats. 18 boats here is reference to a yagya which is performed by 16 pandits and 2 person, that is the person who is getting it performed and his spouse. So Yajman and his spouse. So that is the reference to 18 people here. But that is not very important. Here the reference is that this root of Havan, which we take, is unstable, and avaram means which is not very good, which is not very high quality. Var means the shrest. You select, like in the olden times, the ladies used to select their var. So they used to found used to find the best pen, best person. So that is var. Var means srest. Avaram means asrest. That is not a very good quality thing. It's basically a lower level action. Yesu karm. This is a lower level action. And then those people who think that this is the good path, they are muda. They are mood. They are not very enlightened. Their knowledge is not very, superior. And they have to pass through the process of jara mratyum. Jara is old age, and the death, old age with also all those sufferings which happen. And then you have to come back again and again in this world. So this mantra negates the root of Havan, Yagya, and Karm. Yagya only to the extent because Yagya is normally, in my opinion, is interpreted when you are performing an act with total surrender to the Supreme and without the feeling of doer. Then it becomes Yagya. But here it is basically reference to the Havan, the process, the Karmkan which is performed in the prescribed manner as prescribed in the Vedas. But this is only one example. The karma could be performed in variety of ways. A person who is setting up an industry and starting a production, that is also a karma. And he is doing that karma in a different fashion. So here it says that basically that root of the karma is not very stable and it will not take you beyond what we call Sansar Sagar, beyond the ocean of this world. It will not help you in transcending the ocean of Maya. Now, at this stage, it is important to understand the karma, the process of karma. You see, in Bhagavad Gita also we saw in chapter 3, the concept of karma was explained in detail, that nobody can remain without doing karma. And if you do karma with the feeling of a doer and with expectation, then it becomes a seed and you have to, take the consequences of all those karmas. So this is a continuous process which brings you back into the world. So now, in the context of this mantra, it would be desirable to understand in detail little bit about the concept of karma. First of all, the karma has to be done in a very prescribed manner. Like even if you want to set up a industry, it has to be done in a systematic manner so that there is, no what you call hiccups on the way. So this is very important. The second thing is that you should not have the feeling of doership. The first thing is that many times we are not able to perform a function in the proper way. Like a student is doing his karma to study, so he has to do it in a proper way so that he acquires knowledge. Industrialist has to do it in a proper way so that industry is successful. So the one risk in the karma is that if you don't do it properly, then it will not give you the intended result. The second is that we continue to have a feeling of doership. It's not easy to discard that feeling that you are not the doer. It's extremely important that this feeling is not there, then it becomes yajna. But this feeling remains associated with the doer. It's very, very difficult to discard. Then third thing is that many times we see in the world that we see a lot of good people suffering in life and lot of evil forces. enjoying the fruits. They are rich, they are powerful, they may be corrupt, they may be cruel, but still there. So sometimes it creates confusion in the mind of many people that are we really reaping the harvest of the karma we did? Now, the answer to that has been given in our scriptures very well, that what you are, uh, you know, the circumstances you are living today is the result of your past karma. And what you do today will become the life in the future. So that is an answer, but many times many people do not accept that. So there's a lot of confusion that whether the karma is actually leading you to the intended path, whether the good person is actually reaping the good harvest and a cruel person is suffering because of that, that also becomes a subject of debate. So that is another reason for instability of the root of karma. Then in Mahabharata, in fact, there are some verses which I would like to recall here, uh, uh, which say that, whatever you do, ultimately some additional desires stay, and those keep directing you in a different direction. Like this is one verse from the Santi, Parv of Mahabharata, which the English translation reads like this: on acquiring wealth, man wants to acquire a kingdom. Having acquired a kingdom, they want to become the gods. And then among gods, they want to become the king of gods. So the desires keep, advancing further and further. Then there's another verse there in Mahabharata in Adi Paru. This the English translation is like this: neither all the grain in the world, nor all the gold, nor all the women are sufficient even for one person. Man's body decays, but not his desires. So you see, these are some of the problems of the outcome of the action. You undertake an action with a particular intention, but then those intentions keep, prolonging and multiplying further down. In fact, I will also quote Socrates here. Socrates said, I'll read this passage of it. If you do not get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you don't want, you again suffer. Even when you get exactly what you want, you still suffer because you cannot hold on to this forever. Your mind is your predicament. It wants to be free of change, free of pain, free of the obligations of life and death. But change is the law, and no amount of pretending will alter that reality. So these are some of the realities of the karma, that once you perform an action and you get an outcome, then that outcome leads you to a new desire and to a new action, and then action leads to another desire and another action. And this is like, a tree which is producing more and more leaves. So these leaves are being produced in our mind because of the outcome of the action. And then it also leads to ego, the action. For example, a person becomes rich. He perform a havan for Kuber, and Kuber blesses him and he gets all the wealth. He becomes a billionaire in the world. Now what happens? He has that wealth. Because of the wealth, he is, invited to major events. He's made to become the chief guest. He's asked to speak on the subjects he knows nothing about, but he speaks. Somebody writes his speech and he speaks. And then he is selected as, president of CII or FICCI or, some other organizations. In social structure also, he selected, chairman of this body or president of this body or trustee of that body. So all that, uh, you know, what you call social encouragement, which comes with that wealth, it has nothing to do with wealth, but it boosts his ego. And he starts believing that what he has done is true, that wealth is the only means of attaining success in the world. So these are some of the things which I thought I'll mention about this karma and why this is called unstable boat. In this mantra, it has been called unstable boat because of these variety of these regions. That firstly, we cannot perform an action exactly in accordance to the procedure. Secondly, it may not yield the correct desired outcome. Then there's a confusion because a lot of good people suffer, bad people are wealthy and powerful, so that creates a lot of confusion. And then it also leads to greed, that your desires keep multiplying further down, and it leads to ego. Actually, it leads to what you call ahankar, that you have become very important person. What you have done in life is all right, and it is all accepted by the society, so why not by you? So these are some of the things which are associated with the success of an action. So this is why this mantra is telling it called, this is unstable boat, which doesn't enable you to transcend the world of Maya. And then you have to come back, that is Jaramratyu, Punarevati Yanti, that you have to pass through the old age, you have to face the death, and then you have to take birth again and come back into the cycle of life and death. So this is what this mantra says. It is negating what it says in up to verse number 6 because of these reasons. And now let's go to mantra number 8. Avidyaya mantre vartmana swayam dhira pandita manyamana. This is very interesting. This verse is very, very interesting. Aganyamana pariyanti mudha andhenev niyamana andhna yathanda. That with this kind of knowledge, avidya, that this kind of wrong notion, the person starts thinking swamdhira, that he is very wise, he is very good, because the whole society is recognizing him. He is becoming, the natural leader in the society. And therefore, he starts thinking that he is very wise, he is very prudent, whatever he has done is something great. And then he compares himself, Panditam Manyamana. He thinks that he is the real Pandit because all around him, people praise him, people give him respect. He is received with a lot of respect. He is given the position of respect. He is elected to various bodies in the society. So all those things make him feel that he is wise and he is respected and he is full of knowledge, Panditam. But he says, this kind of knowledge is completely misplaced, aganyamana, and this gives you lot of sufferings again and again. And those sufferings are like the one, like what? Andhenev niyamana yathandha, that a blind man is guiding another blind man. That a person who doesn't have his eyes, he is guiding another blind man. So the society keeps behaving in that sense. The people in this society who are devoid of proper knowledge, And they create a situation for this man in such a way that these people are guiding his destiny, because other people in the society give him respect, give him position, eh, treat him with utmost care, and therefore that blindness makes him also blind, and the one blind is following the another blind. This is very oftenly quoted, mantra in many writings. Andhanev niyamana yathanda. This is a blind man is guiding another blind person. So this happens because of that social structure, because of the ego, which arises due to misunderstanding or due to avidya, wrong knowledge, which has come into, domain in a particular area. And because of that, this is all happening. Now we see this every day in the real world. A person who is advocating violence, who is, you know, advocating that these people should be killed and they are this, that. Now that kind of feeling are supported by many others, then that person starts believing that what he's saying is right. And this has happened in case of many extremist people, particularly some of the mullahs who advocate extremist philosophy in the world. And when they are supported by others, then he starts believing that this is the truth and this is what should be done. And this is also happening in other fields. For example, a successful industrialist, he acquires an empire of industries. Now others start treating him with great respect, great, what you call reverence, give him all status. And then he starts feeling whatever he has done is the right path. He does not think about it. It may be right path. I'm not saying it is not right path. Building industry, making it successful is right path. But this is a path of karma which takes you to a particular point. It gives you the result. But that result is not necessarily enabling you to transcend the journey of life beyond this cycle of birth and death. So that is where it becomes wrong. So this is what this, mantra number 8 says. Now this has a very good, actually, mention in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 17. Chapter 16. It says like this here. I'll read it in Hindi. वे सोचा करते हैं कि मैंने आज यह प्राप्त कर लिया और इस मनोरथ को मैं कल प्राप्त कर लूंगा, मेरे पास इतना धन है और फिर इतना हो जाएगा, वह शत्रु मेरे द्वारा मारा गया और मैं उन दूसरे शत्रुओं को भी मार डालूंगा, मैं ईश्वर हूं, ऐश्वर्य का भोगने वाला हूं, मैं सब सिद्धियों से युक्त हूं और बलवान और सुखी हूं, मैं बहुत बड़ा धनी और बड़े कुटुंब वाला हूं, मेरे समान दूसरा कोई नहीं, मैं यज्ञ करूंगा, दान दूंगा और आमोद प्रमोद करूंगा. Now this is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verses 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the way the things develop. When you go in this path of karma and you attain success on that path, so it causes these kind of, reverberations, these kind of consequences in the mind of human being. And that is why this Upanishad is saying that this path is not the right path. This is the path of avidya. This is the path of darkness. Then again, mantra number 9, the Upanishad goes further and describes it. Avidyayam bahuda vartamana vayam kritartha ityabhimanyati bala yat karmano na pravedayanti ragat tena tura shin lokashchavante. It means that bala means, the people with have do not have mature thinking, or people who have, thinking which is of low level. So this kind of sakam karma, this kind of karms are done by those people who have immature thinking, who are not fully, uh, you know, well versed with the knowledge. And then iti abhimanyanti, that they become arrogant. They become arrogant. And then they start, what's it, ragat. They start getting involved in variety of what you call vyasans, variety of uh, you know things which should not be done, wrong habits. So because of this, they get into a path which is undesirable. Now this happens with a lot of powerful and rich people. We have seen this. I've seen this in my career many times. These rich and powerful people, then they would like to get into other wrong directions. Those directions could include, for example, going to all these, like the places of where you can find women, where you find nightclubs, and where have a lot of bars and drinks, and you behave in a very dark darkness envelops you. It's already these functions are performed in the darkness of night, and they makes you further dark. The darkness completely envelops you because you forget your vivek, your faculties, and you get indulgence into these kind of wrong activities. So this mantra is saying that this path of karma which leads you to the success can also promote you or push you in a very wrong direction in life. And these things include that विषयों में आसक्ति, you get attached to a variety of comforts in life. I I don't know what word to use, but the comfort of wrong nature, the comfort of nightlife, the comforts of you know going to bars and drinking and dancing and behaving in wrong fashion. Sometimes drug addiction, sometimes smoking, all those. So this is what you're saying, that it can go further. See, systematically these mantras are explaining that how this path can uh, lead to further an instability in your life. And the first instability was the greed, ego, eh? And then it can make you feel that you are wise and virtuous, and you are great person, you are fully knowledgeable pandit. But then can also lead you to these low level activities in life. So these three mantras, these second two, that 8 and 9 mantras, they tell you how we become degraded. The path of degradation can follow because of the success in the karma yoga if it is not done properly. The karma yoga success can lead you to a very degradable state if you are not careful. If you don't have that asakti in the outcome, attachment in the outcome, if you don't have the feeling of doership, if you do this act with total surrender to the Supreme, then there's no problem. But if you do it to attain what we call power, position, wealth in life, then it can lead you to these consequences. So this is, I think, very, very significant explanation how we get deeper and deeper into avidya because of that process. And then we'll take the verse number 10 now. Istapurtam varishtham manyamana pramudha anyate shrey ye vediyante. That ist or purt, that is purt is sakam karm. श्रेष्ठ मानने वाले, इनको इनको श्रेष्ठ मानने वाले जो लोग हैं वो अत्यंत मूर्ख होते हैं, उनसे भिन्न वास्तविक श्रेय को नहीं जानते, बिकॉज देन दे डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड द रियल ट्रूथ ऑफ लाइफ. द श्रेय मीन्स द ट्रू नॉलेज ऑफ लाइफ, द नॉलेज अबाउट द इटर्नल ट्रूथ्स ऑफ लाइफ, that they do not know. And they feel that they can use their wealth to do punya karma. They can perform yajna, they can donate money, and they feel that this is the right path. And they can attain swarg, they can reach in the, a place of all comforts that is called heaven. So this is what they feel. This is their thinking. The thinking is completely transformed in this way. But what actually happens is hin taram vishanti, that they keep going down and down, and they are born into very low species of life. Hin yonyo mein, hin taram. Actually, this is what happens. So these three mantras, 8, 9, and 10. The 7 starts with saying that this path of karma or havan, yajna not in the sense I mentioned before, is not stable. It will not help you in transcending the world of Maya. And then it explains why. Then it goes into the consequences that happen in the world. And these are the real consequences. We all experience these consequences in our lives. That we, become greedy, we develop ego, and that ego is further perpetuated by the society who praise you all around. And then it happens, it becomes like that a blind man is guiding another blind man. Then you fall into that path. And then these people actually perform wrong actions. They get into further darkness, and the path they follow is then becomes degraded path. Excessive drinking, nightclubs, going with women, drugs, addictions, all kinds of things happen. And then these people still feel that they are honored people, they are respected people in the society, and they can donate money, they can perform yajnas, and through which they can, overcome all the difficulties. But this is not true. What happens is that these people are actually taking birth in a very degraded way in their next life. Hin taram vishanti, that they get into a lower species of life. And now hinionyo, I don't know whether it is reference to the lower species of life or a lower condition of life. I would use the word lower condition of life. A condition of life which is degraded, a condition of life which is even worse than the current one. So this is how these mantras are explaining, telling us about the consequences of getting into this process of acquiring success through karma, through the avidya, through while feeling that you are the doer, while misusing that consequence the wealth, power, whatever you earn, misusing that, and then getting into a very wrong direction altogether. So this is what we will finish it here, verse number 10 today, and we'll continue uh, further on this part of the Upanishad. I think in the next session we will finish the second part of first Mundak. There are one, two, three. There are four more, mantras in this Mundak. We'll finish them. So thank you very much, and we must understand this because this is a very practical thing. These kind of consequences of the good karma, we do good karma, good consequences, but then it leads to the bad results because of certain misunderstanding, because of wrong, support from the society. And then the same thing which, the blind man leading another blind man, that happens in the life of each one of us. So thank you very much.